Welcome to the presentation of Implementing Service Design. My name is Dr. Suzanne Van Hove and I will be your instructor. The topics that we're going to discuss in this module are just some general implementation considerations for service design as well as just implementing in general, an implementation framework, and a system to measure service design. Lastly, we'll talk about the prerequisites for success. So when you start thinking about just implementing anything within an IT organization, I think the greatest policy or rule is stated in that green arrow. Anything that you do must be directly traced to defined business need and prioritized for the greatest benefit with minimal risk. Seems like common sense, but sometimes our environment doesn't always let us follow that common sense. So what we can do is we can utilize a BIA, a business impact analysis, to identify those critical services, their business impact, the critical processing periods, as well as the cost of the service loss. We've discussed the BIA in the module that included IT Service Continuity Management. If we know these concepts, then we also understand the service level requirements behind them. They become key input to the design activities. We have to assess those design activities for efficiency as well as value to the overall business strategy and plans. We need to collect upfront those requirements to eliminate retrofit activities. Very expensive and very difficult to do. When you start thinking about how do I implement either service design or implement anything else, you need to have some sort of structure in place. So for successful alignment of IT with business strategies, you'd need to understand the overall vision and leadership, have some clear goals. Also, to successfully align IT with business strategies, there has to be a level of acceptance for innovation, as well as proactively looking for new opportunities. To successfully align, there has to be a level of understanding of the business processes themselves by IT. Also, to align IT with business strategies, IT needs to understand the business needs, and the business needs to understand the potential that IT can bring. So lastly, for successful alignment of IT with business strategies, we have to ensure that the appropriate information and communication is available, accessible, and relevant. So how do we go about doing all of those alignment activities as well as implement either service design or a service? Well, use the CSI model to guide this implementation. The CSI model is shown to you on the slide, and it's something that I've used as a consultant on many times. I have found it to be a very easy framework to apply, as well as it will provide a very complete overview and picture of whatever it is that I'm doing as a consultant, either as process definition, service design, etc. Spend some time on this diagram. So understand, as you go through the various questions, look at the activities that are associated. So in order to deploy appropriately, you need to understand what's the vision. And this is the business vision, mission, goals, and objectives. Once we understand the vision, we need to figure out where we are now. And we would do a baseline assessment and a gap analysis. When we have that answer, we want to understand where do we want to be, and we would define measurable targets. Then to achieve those targets, we would then design our service and process improvements. Along with that design, we would answer the question, did we get there? Meaning we will have defined measures and metrics that we will capture to say that yes, we have or have not met the goal of what our improvement efforts or our deployment is. Lastly, to circle this up and to continue an ongoing process is that how do we keep the momentum going? So what is the ongoing activities that will allow us to continually improve in our deployment? Once we've deployed, we have to have a way of measuring our service design activities. What's shown on here and on the next slide are two quantitative measures. The balanced scorecard has 4 areas that it will present information that will allow senior managers an overview picture of organizational performance. It will look at the customer, financial, internal business processes, as well as learning and growth areas as they all relate to the organization, vision, and strategy. For more information, go to the website www.balancedscorecard.org. The second quantitative measure is Six Sigma. We have 2 methods that we can deploy in terms of measurements. We have 2 sets of activities that will fulfill the Six Sigma philosophy. First, we have DMAD-V, which is applied to new systems and includes the activities of define, measure, analyze, design, and then verify. The second structure is DMAIC, which is define, measure, analyze, improve, and then control. DMAIC is used for existing systems. Remember that the whole point of Six Sigma is to ensure that we have a structured process with the goal of removing process errors. Six Sigma came from the manufacturing industry, and you can learn more about Six Sigma at the website www.isixsigma.com. Lastly, to achieve high qualities of maturity within an organization, you have to understand that there may be prerequisites for success, or PFSs. One of those PFSs is knowledge of the dependency between processes and services. If you understand that processes may advance and mature at different speeds, the overall maturity will only reflect the most immature process. So when we talk about the capability maturity model integrated, or even some of the processes that we've talked about today, some activities may be more ingrained in an organization than others. As we put out best practice, there will be activities that will be completely unfamiliar to your staff. As you measure the maturity of the process, you can only say that the process is as mature as its lowest functioning activity. We'll see that again. Understand that success often rests outside of IT service management processes, that we may need other events to occur or to be in place. In other words, empowerment and authority from leadership, so that we can be successful within our service management processes. Maturity also must be spread throughout the organization to actually get the title organizational maturity. You've all heard the adage, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Again, this goes back up to the level of maturity within a process. You cannot say that you're at a level 5, which is the highest level of maturity, when you still do not capture all events within a process as demanded by the process documentation. At this time, you can answer some sample questions. The sample papers are available in the download section of the course page. Answer question 2 from sample paper 1. Once completed, ensure that you read all of the justifications and use all available resources to develop a full understanding of the question as well as the answer. Thanks very much for joining us today.